Alright, so I'm gonna share screens. Let me see my entire screen. Alright. So the first thing I have up is your OPGG, so like tell me exactly like what I'm looking at.
Okay. So basically like support main
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
Um, Playing like mostly Bard. Um, Picked up like Karma recently, and then I I like last month I played a lot of like Zyra and
Okay.
like yeah, but recently it's like Bard and Karma.
So last season you ended Diamond. Was that your first time Diamond?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was.
Congrats on that. But this time you're just like struggling in lower Diamond. Did you say was that you that peaked Diamond 2? Or was that someone else?
I peaked like Diamond 3, like
Okay.
90 LP
Okay,
like a
so
month
really
ago.
close. Really close.
And then I went like on an insane losing streak.
That
Yeah.
happens. All right. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, we'll just kind of get into the VOD. I think is gonna be the best thing to do.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for recording this. I watched part of this already, but I didn't like
Hmm.
take very much notes. Can you see my mouse, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
And can you see the drawing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's start this up. We'll just pause right here before the game starts. Something that you should always do is think about your matchup. Um,
Hmm.
so like Bard, Ashe versus Lucian, Leona. Like, what do you think about this matchup? Do you win? Do you lose? Are there certain points when you win?
I think like level one B like can push and like poke them,
Mhm.
but like after that they're all in. It's like really scary, so you
Yeah,
have to like respect it.
yeah. If they get level 2 first, you guys like are in like a really
Yeah.
bad spot. So ideally, if you guys don't have to leash, that would be super good. But it's not something that you guys can always control.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if they don't have to leash and you guys do, then you guys can really get zoned off hard if the enemy bot lane is very good. Um,
Yeah.
so that's something that you should always be thinking about. And then you can also be thinking about your other matchups, such as like Graves versus Fiddlesticks. You know, Graves will clear a lot faster, a lot like quicker. Um, and Fiddlesticks is more of like a champion that's gonna want to scale to level 6 and then get his like really good ganks off, which you can combo pretty well with your Bard ult. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'd say you're pretty accurate in describing that matchup. That you guys need to be careful after level 1 because they can
Yeah.
kind of pop you. When do you take exhaust versus ignite? I noticed that you kind of swap between the
Yeah.
two.
Like if they have assassins like the
Okay.
Scandead, Katarina, Camille,
Yeah.
Graves,
Yep. I like that. I like that reasoning. I think exhaust is pretty underrated right now, so
Yeah.
I think that more people could be taking it. Alright, get into the game. So I don't play a ton of Bard, but I have played him in the past, but like nowhere near a Bard expert. So
Hmm.
if something I say specifically about Bard, like you think
Yeah.
is wrong, you could just correct me and I can learn how to play Bard. So
Okay.
um, there is a few bards I see that sometimes they start W and like put it mid lane.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the case, so you would want to do this game because it's
I
Cassidy.
think I like lose a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
I've done it a few times,
yeah,
but
and
it's
in this lane when you're the strongest at level 1, probably starting W is not really what you want to do. So,
yeah.
um, but just something to note that I've seen a bard do. Um, right here, we go ahead and place our ward just to see if they're actually doing our red. I think that's fine. It'll end up hurting us up a little bit, but I think it's
Yeah.
important to know. So I'm glad you do that. It looks like you guys are going to have to leash because Fiddlesticks is coming down. And just generally, whenever your ADC leaves, it's probably just best for you to leave as well. Just so
Okay.
that you're there in case they're in the bush, like waiting for you or something. And it's just like more efficient if you guys are both there hitting rather than just like one person.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we start, what do you notice about like jungle, like the junglers? Do you notice anything? Can we
So
tell
like
anything?
Leona used her Q probably. She's
Yeah,
like low on mana, so
she.
he probably started about to say.
Yeah, it also looks like it's kind of hard to tell. It also looks like she might have taken a hit.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's pretty likely that Graves started at red. So we can keep that in mind as we continue throughout this. But that's like the most important thing that you could do, especially if you're dying like a lot in your games, and especially in lane phase, like making sure you know where the enemy jungler starts. Because if you know where the enemy jungler starts, you can track him very easily for like the next like 3 or 4 minutes. All right.
Okay.
So like that's a thing that you need to ingrain in your head, like even if you're not support, like even if you're top lane or something, just like always be watching where the enemy jungler starts if you could tell. So here would have been like a good spot if you actually had your ward, which unfortunately you had to use it at red, which I
Yeah.
think is fine, but obviously warding here would be pretty ideal to, kind of poke Leona out of the way.
If I were to, doesn't she just like auto Q auto?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, she could do that too. I don't know
Yeah.
if she started E for the level 1 invade. Um,
True.
I don't remember. But yeah, true Leona could just kill it. So yeah, against most supports, you could probably just ward that bush and then kind of poke them out of it because she's kind of like playing bush aggro really well.
Yeah.
And then here, I like that we're gonna try to push for 2 here. I think we maybe, since you're Bard, you hit it first. So that's a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that you zone him off here. Maybe potentially you can here we'll go back a little bit. You can last hit these a little bit later because you have such a big minion lead. All right, I'll go back a second. Um, So right here, you guys already have like a pretty big minion lead. It's like 9 to 6 or whatever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 8 to 6. Okay, and so you guys have a pretty big lead, and the longer that you like hold this lead, the more that you can deny them. And so ideally, your Ashe doesn't use volley there, and ideally you just last hit these minions. You don't hit them when they're half health, so that you can like say right at this moment you can maybe even deny one of these melee creeps here if they were alive longer. Probably not in this case, but it's something to keep in
Uh,
mind.
okay.
That if you have the minion lead, you want to make sure you like hold it as long as you can when you have the level advantage too.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch out for when they hit 2. She probably could have gotten like an okay trade on you right there, and you kind of walked up too far. We can watch it again. It's right here.
Yeah.
It looked like you weren't aware that they were gonna hit level 2. Um, kind of looked unaware that Lucian was like unsure that he was gonna hit level 2. But
Yeah.
like this is like if like Lucian's paying attention, he grabs E, she grabs E, you probably get chunked to here. You might have to exhaust. Like you actually opened yourself up to be gone on here. So you
Right.
just need to realize that, especially since your Q is down as well. And if they're familiar with Bard, then they know his Q is like a 12-second or whatever cooldown level 1. So even though you don't get punished there, the higher elo you'll go, the more likely you'll be to get punished there. So just always be watching like when they're hitting, certain levels. I'd say right now you're pretty clear to do things because you guys have the minion advantage and they'd have to jump into a cannon minion. But in that other case, I don't think the minion advantage would have done as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice Q. Checking the scoreboard, very good. I like that you look at other lanes. I think it's really important. Good job dropping the minion aggro after you poke. Here she goes on you. So there's just slight mechanical things that we can maybe improve here. Is instead of healing immediately, we could like use our Q and probably stun before they move out of the way. But
Uh,
that's very small and just like something that you still hit it on Lucian, which is pretty good, but maybe you could have hit it on both. Um, and so just like you need to be thinking about like I think the core takeaways here is like before they go on you, you have to be thinking about like what am I going to do when they go on me? So like what is like say Leona E's on me like a few frames ago, like what will I do if Leona E's on me right now? And so you like maybe your response is, I'm gonna walk this way, I'm gonna get hit by it, but then I'm just gonna like throw my Q and try to hit them, or I'm gonna immediately W, or I'm gonna immediately E through
yeah.
here or something. But just
I
like
was
think,
trying to get my guardian like
oh
as
yeah, yeah,
soon as possible.
yeah, that's also a pretty good call too. Um, yeah, because you W the Ash and speed her up and get guardian. That's pretty good call there. Yeah, but you guys won that trade really hard regardless. So generally, if you could trade like evenly, like Ash traded or some health and you traded some health, it's gonna be better than like if Lucian trades all his health and Leona's full. So
Yeah.
you guys came out really on top of that. So what should you do with this wave? Do you know?
Probably let it push, I guess.
Yeah, I mean there's two lines of thinking. So do you remember where the jungler started?
He started bot side.
Yeah, he started bot side, so we know he probably did red, and then I think we've seen him top side somewhere. So right
Yeah.
now he's probably around this area, and someone's also pinging it. All right, and so if we want to keep pressure, we can continue pushing, and I think that's fine as long as we don't like keep doing it for the next three waves. So I think pushing here is actually okay, even though it may seem like since they're pushing in and we can hold this freeze, I don't think it's necessarily the right choice because potentially if we push this, it allows our fiddlesticks to get this crab a lot easier.
Hmm.
Since your mid lane is casted, he doesn't have that much pressure. In this case, he does against Katarina, but just a bunch of different factors to keep in mind. I think since the jungler we know is probably topside, it's okay to push this wave. Um, but if he was bot side, I think definitely letting it come in is going to be good. Because I think right here what happens is Lucian goes B. Okay, we see the Graves now. I like that you're looking for this roam. He flashes out. And we determined that the wave's probably too big, so we probably can't do anything, which I think is a pretty accurate assessment. But I like that you were like looking for the roam, and I think that's really good. Um, but yeah, do you see we could be denying and getting tower damage right here because Lucian went B. And instead we're just denying. So
Yeah.
hard to say whether like it's the correct choice because now Graves is like doing crab or something. Um, but maybe if we had pushed a little bit more, like you and Ash could have actually just walked up to the Graves who has no flash now and stopped him. But now
Yeah.
if you go stop them and then they like push, then you like will lose this giant wave. So just something to be thinking about. As a support, you don't completely like dictate where the lane is, but you also can at the same time. Like you can tell your AD carry what to do, and then you can also auto and stuff.
Hmm.
She missed the word. But good, you guys are just playing safe here. They know where Fiddlesticks is. You probably shouldn't have hit that thing, but nothing you can do about that. I think helping thin this out is going to like you have to be thinking about like what your AD carry wants to do. At this point, since your AD carry chose to freeze, like your AD carry wants to keep the wave here. So if you ever
Yeah.
have like an opportunity to help her keep it here, it's gonna be just generally a good idea to help. Um, so like maybe if you had helped right here, like helped auto like the melee one or like one of the ranged ones, she doesn't have to use her W right here.
Okay.
'Cause right here she uses her W to like try to land them, like hit a bunch. But yeah, very small thing, but just like making sure you're like kind of in sync with your AD carry. So something I noticed because I watched part of this VOD already is like you throw out like these random cues, and after you do that, like since you don't have like spell thieves or anything, there's very little point, like you do some of her HP, but that's about it. And now you guys don't have pressure for the next like 10 seconds when you're trying to hold this freeze. I think if you're pushing, it's a little bit different because then you have a bigger minion wave, so they'd have to jump in on you. But right now they're trying to make this hit tower, and so you kind of just gave them an opening to like freely push this in, if that makes sense.
So I shouldn't queue it.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't queue. You should, because you see what they're able to do now is like they kind of just like walk at you and do whatever they want. Um, and since you guys do have like a huge minion disadvantage, like they're able to do that. Whereas maybe if you had the minion advantage, then maybe if they go out on you, your Q comes back up and you guys like win the fight.
Right.
But just making sure your abilities like are in line of with like how you want to play the lane. It's important. So it looks like you want to recall. We'll end up missing a lot, so I like that you don't. You guys are kind of in a bad situation now, even though initially you were in a good one. Here we Q again to do some damage, but now it's kind of hard for Ashe to walk up. They're letting her? Okay, no, they're not. Yeah. So maybe that goes differently and she dies there. I don't know if she has flash or not. But that's just another one of those situations where, we're just trying to like stay alive and we're using our abilities and probably not the best way to do that. One second, let me get a drink of water. Okay. I like that you were like looking at it, but also maybe we could have been here a little bit faster. But ultimately ends up you not having to do anything. I like that you go to stop this recall. I think it's really, really good. Unfortunately, I think you missed the Camille, but I think it was a good try. I think it's really worth. And then at here, just pushing and getting the cannon, and then running is gonna be your best play. I think. I think you end up like dilly-dallying here. Do you think you ever kill this guy?
No.
No. So I think you're wasting time because your Caston wants to be anyways. He's Zoom. So
Really?
that damage really doesn't do anything because Graves will just heal it back in the jungle. So I'd say just make sure you're not wasting time, especially when your ADC is like left alone. Because do you know? Here, we'll go back a tiny bit. So when you guys had to be here, do you know what's gonna happen to the wave?
It's gonna crash.
Yeah, it's gonna crash here, and then what happens?
It's probably gonna like bounce back.
Yeah, so it's gonna bounce back and slow push back towards them, and then so if the Lucian's decent, and he's diamond or whatever, he's just gonna let it freeze, and then Ashe can't play the games. The whole time while you're roaming, Ashe can't actually play because the Leona's gonna sit in this bush if she's not roaming, and then the Ashe like can't walk up, like she's stuck here, and then the wave is all the way down here.
Right.
So it's just generally it's gonna be better to roam whenever you guys get the push first, and then recall if that makes sense, because then it'll bounce back to you guys, and your AD carry can just wait for the wave to come in.
Okay.
So whenever you're getting pushed against, then you recall, and then if you don't walk back by, it's like maybe the enemy ADC messes it up and just hard jumps back, and your ADC gets farm. But if they don't, then your ADC is in a really bad spot, and I mean, obviously your Ashe shouldn't have died here, because she just got greedy for some of the farm. But at the same time, it's like maybe if we had been pushing like that one wave before, that we were talking about when Lucian backed, and then went B after that, maybe we have a roam timer mid then, and the wave is coming back to Ashe. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's something like pretty small, but also like super super important, especially like if you're the AD carry perspective of it. So you guys go for this play. Fortunately, he just gets one shot, so it ends up not working. I'd say
Should have Like backed up more and then waited for him to walk up.
Yeah,
What
you
you're saying?
guys, you could have baited it slightly better, but also like if you think a play's not gonna work, probably just ping it off because I think it's like unlikely you guys ever kill them in this situation, especially
Yeah.
without ignite or electrocute on Bard or anything. Which I think Guardian and Exhaust are generally gonna be better, but just if you had those, it'd still even be hard to kill them there.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that you're watching the map. So what's the play here? What did Lucian just show you?
He's backing.
Yeah, he's probably backing. If he wasn't, he'd probably be at the wave right now. And they just got gold, so
Yeah.
there's a couple things you could do. You can either look for, oh, okay, they're staying, so
Mm-hmm.
now you're staying, obviously. But if they did go be there, maybe you look for a roam opportunity. Maybe you get 6 first, then look for the roam. You know,
Yeah.
either of these work.
Now they're level 6.
Yeah,
That's like scary.
yeah, it's very scary. I like what Ash does. Tries to freeze. This is scary to do. I don't know if they could have been in that bush, but I feel like they could have. Nice stun. Perfect. So now you locked them in lane. So what's your goal now that you locked them in lane?
Make them like stay in lane,
Yeah,
not back.
yeah, because they have item or like gold to spend, so you want to try to keep them in lane. Oh, whoops. So by just like holding your Q and like saving it for certain times, like unless you can get a really good trade with it with like Ash Arrow or something, it's generally gonna be the best. It's like if it could set up for a good Ash Arrow and a good all-in, maybe going for it. But if not, then
Mm-hmm.
probably holding it is gonna be good. And then just like helping thin out if she wants to try to freeze, but I don't think you guys could have in this spot. Um, no, close. That maybe have been
I,
a time where you could Bartle that, but it's kind of, I'm not 100% sure on that.
mm, is it worth it?
Maybe. It's maybe worth it. I don't know for sure. Something that you did here was pretty bad. Right here, I'll let you see it. Do you see what you did?
I backed like Envision.
Yeah, you backed in vision. So you like tell them that you're going B, so like roaming to this top fight. Um, so just generally never do that, or you could do like an alternative, like where you did that on purpose and then you roam or something.
Yeah.
And then they think you went B and then you all of a sudden appear mid. Um, so I'd say, but like if you're actually going B, then don't do that. Just
Mhm.
maybe walk to the bush while she's clearing the minions and recall or whatever else.
Right.
Or wait till all the minions are dead. Nice. Team's kind of doing okay. I like that you're running through mid. You also can get your chimes. That's good. It's the best scattering ult I've ever seen. So something I'd say about this is it's good that we're getting vision around mid, but also I think this ward is kind of fine because we were trying to get the Katarina out. Um, but also like getting a ward up here or like over at the red is also a pretty good ward. I think you're pretty safe to do it. Um, we know
Right.
Katarina's over here. We don't know where Leona is. So that's the big thing. But I think it's fairly safe. Um, but getting deeper vision is gonna help, everyone track the jungler a lot easier. And we'll like say you see him on Raptors, then it lets your top laner play more aggressively. Um, and so just getting deeper vision usually allows for that kind of play. Um,
After I get my like support quest thing, like my 3 words.
Yeah.
Where are like the places I should board?
Um, I mean, like in an ideal situation, like you don't have to be afraid of anyone. Like probably like here, probably like if you so like say you're red side, so probably here. Probably try if you can, get it, but like that's kind of hard. Like these are all
Mm,
hard words to get. And then like ideally, if the red buff's coming up, getting one at red or over the wall is pretty good. And then even getting one at Krugs is pretty good. I'd say the deeper vision you get is generally going to be better because like you see the jungler for longer and you can like more correctly like identify their pathing. Because right
right,
now, to be honest, like I don't even know where Graves really is. Maybe I should. But like if you can identify like he's here, and then he passed that way after he killed that camp, he's probably going to his Krugs or something, okay? And then from
right,
his Krugs, he's either going to gank bottom or he's going to go B and then path to his top side. So just by
right,
having this ward that like at Raptors and seeing that he goes that way, it like will tell you a lot rather than just like if he's ganking mid. All right, because we
mm,
can know he's ganking mid if he's right here and he passed this way and then he like hugs the wall. Like we can know he's ganking mid. All right.
right,
In this case, like trying to get a recall is pretty good though. So like I'm not necessarily like saying that word's really bad, but in the future, like getting deeper vision is gonna help your team out a lot. And it's kind of hard to like quantify actually how good it will help your team, but it's something that'll like allow everyone on your team to play smarter, hopefully.
yeah.
So I'd be careful of placing wards when like they can see you, because they're just gonna like sweep and clear it. Um,
Yeah.
but obviously this isn't super ideal, but just like the thing to keep in mind is like like when we see the scuttle crab here, like are you guys ever gonna kill this Leona or Graves?
No.
Probably not. So like there's really no point in actually even doing damage to them because they're just gonna like regen that damage or take this honey fruit. So I'd say like maybe if you had spell thieves or whatever, like it'd be like there's like some merit in like trying to get hits off, but there's really
Yeah.
there's no reason for us to get this damage off. So you always have to be thinking about like, is there like a reason for me to use like my spells like this? Like, um, it looks like you wanted to ping the Ash to use her R.
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
thought
that
she was. Yeah. I
I'm
thought she
glad
was gonna.
I'm glad that you
Yeah.
didn't. I think that it will generally just tilt your teammates more. So I think it's good
Yeah.
that you didn't. Um, so here, I think it's important to. I think we looked at our wave. I think. Let me check again. Don't think we really looked at our wave.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, no we did. Okay, so our wave's bad. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can just freeze that if they want. They can even like recall and come back and it'll still be frozen. Um, and so I think it's good that you're running bottom here. But also, for instance, if your wave was better, like if you had better wave timings, you could have maybe ran to this
Yeah.
fight. But I think going bot here is you need to do it, otherwise your Ash can get fucked. Um, looks like bot lane ends up pushing it anyways. Um, but she could get dived at this point, so you kind of had to go bottom. All right, now we got to be careful. We don't have our Q up. So you have to wonder where they are. Are they going B? I guess, or what are they doing?
I think they cheese us here.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, they definitely do cheese you guys.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is like noticing like if they are going B, they probably wouldn't contest you on this ward. So they're either going B or they're sitting somewhere. So you have to always keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But
And
I
just
mean,
like
that's
check
easy
the
to say in
bushes.
hindsight. But yeah. Um, I think you guys also
Maybe,
could have maybe got out of this. But
yeah.
you guys tried to
Maybe I
fight it.
should just like ult here
Yeah.
and run. Like ult that.
I think after like watching it, I think like Eing Eing immediately, then like ulting after they follow you through your tunnel maybe is the best play, but like
Yeah.
Eing here to here and then ult them when I go there. But I don't know. It's
Probably.
kind of a hard play, but it seemed like you were like unaware that this could happen, which I'm like 90% sure like most players, like 99% of players wouldn't expect that, but like um if you can't expect that, then you could literally like live, you know, save
Yeah.
save yourself from getting double killed. Uh, so it's not completely mandatory, but something I would like suggest, at least if you wanted to try starting it, is like timing like TPs or flashes. I think it can help a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, people have to use the information. You have to use the information. It's one thing to just time it, but it's another thing to like use that information. I think it's particularly good on Bard. If like say you're against a Varus or something, you know, Varus has no flash, then you can ult him like really easily if he doesn't have Edge of Night or something. Um,
Hmm.
there's like specific champions that it's like super important to do on. Like I'd say it's not as important on Katarina because she already can jump a billion times, but like you know, if you're against an Ashe and she doesn't have flash, it's like a very easy kill that you can
Yeah.
get more consistently. Um,
I do
and
it like some games
oh yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm like feeling it. But
oh yeah. I'd
uh,
say I'd say if you wanted to start practicing, you could just try doing it against like the immobile champions that are like, you
yeah.
know, the ones that need flash desperately to get out of your ult or something. Um, nice. I like that you changed where you were gonna ward. I think a good ward that is a little bit underrated is putting one here, which you maybe can get, I think.
I think I do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, she dies again. Um, so I'd say the biggest thing is like whenever you're showing on vision, you know, your Ashe isn't playing appropriately. But also she may have been like trying to get a wave in, and yeah, it looks like she was, but like they already see you, so she knows, like they know she's alone. Um, so I mean it's like sort of your fault, but sort of her fault because she could have just played
Yeah.
back and waited for you. But like Leona, Lucia is a lane that can go in very easily. But just always know like whenever you're showing somewhere, like either ping your AD carry back or like you know
I
or
should have
like
just like F4'd and
yeah
ulted immediately.
yeah or like check your AD carries so that you can all. I think something like like the Ashe could have been just like sitting there farming and the Leona was like playing passively, but then the moment like she sees you like on that ward and dragon, then she goes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Ashe thought she was safe, and then like you showed somewhere, and then she was like, oh, and then I die. So
Yeah.
you always have to be aware of like what you're showing to the enemy team when you're roaming.
Here I can't really like run bot, so I'm
Yeah,
just like hovering mid, and they just get the tower.
yep.
I can't do anything.
I think maybe full running top is probably gonna be an okay play here. I don't think
Yeah.
they'll stay around for the tier two.
I'm like wasting my time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you almost could have been at this top fight by now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of about like roaming is like predicting what the enemy is gonna do. So they just got a kill. They pushed the tower. I think the Lucian was like pretty much like full health, I think. So like they kind of maybe don't have a reason to be, but at the same time, like they might have a bunch of money. So if you're able to
Yeah.
keep track of that better, then you're able to like tell when they're going B, so that you can get like these free roams off. And like knowing certain like item timings, like Lucian will generally go Bork, or he'll do the Essence Reaver build. So like if he needs Bilgewater for 1600, like that's kind of like the cutoff where he wants that amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe could have stopped Lucian's recall there, I think.
Yeah.
Here's Leona. Something that you can do is you can press tab and check how many wards she has um, in her inventory. See if she
Right.
went B. And then also just like, since you have the sweeper, you know, you can literally watch her right now and see where she places her wards. Like, since you have vision here, you
Mm-hmm.
can go B here, get your wards, then your sweeper will be back up, and then you can literally just go sweep exactly where she put her wards. Alright. I think that's like a kind of missed opportunity. It's like, I think she
Yeah.
probably put one in here, but like if we were watching her inventory, we would see it go from 3 to 2. It's like we know for sure it would be like right there. Um,
Okay.
and that's like something that you could do. Also, if like she had pink wards, you could know where she put her. I mean, control wards. We would know where she put her control wards. It's like right here, obviously she knows you're in there because she actually just warded that. So
Yeah. She's gonna like walk up
yeah, and she probably might stop
toward it.
you. No, she's too scared. And so you kind of recall that vision again. So even though you
Yeah.
knew it was worded there, generally
Yeah.
it's just gonna be better not to recall and vision.
I don't know what this is. I'm pretty sure it was a kill if she lands it.
Yeah. But yeah, we go and we get place the pink there. That's good. This looks like it's gonna be a very important fight.
Yeah.
Oh, is he going? Hmm. Well, that's not ideal. Okay. Well, I watched the group for Leonel. Nice. And I think at this point, you guys kind of lose the fight. Because you don't have Fiddle. Maybe you can wait on
Yeah.
Aurelio.
The Camille trolls here.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just fucking goes in 1v4. I like the flash. Good.
I troll my stun.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I should have queued like while she was in the wall.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. Oh, wow. Do they see him?
No.
I didn't realize you could do that. That's crazy. Oh, he
Yeah.
got out.
No, watch the fiddle W. It's gonna like walk up.
So I'd say leading up to this dragon fight, what can you do differently? All right, vision wise.
Um, there was like a bad word in the pixel bush, the duck bush.
Mm,
Probably could have like worded that, and then maybe like over the wall, like across the dragon pit.
yeah. So I'd say the mistake starts happening. Um, so we're kind of walking around, and then I think recalling here is like fine because you have no wards. And then I'd say like the mistake starts happening here when you try to go for this pick. That's not really a pick because you don't have anyone else on your team here.
Mm,
Um, because like we don't have Fiddle ult up, we don't have Aurelial, we don't have Ashe ult, like we're never killing this person. And then instead we could have just gone B a little bit earlier and we could have gone B out of vision. And then we could have got here earlier. And then We can only buy one control word. That's fine. And then if we know better where her wards are, we can sweep better. And then we're
Yeah.
also here faster. So maybe instead of where we are now, we're like, if we recalled a little bit earlier, we're like over here or something. So we could kind of like establish vision a little bit better. Because I feel like if you guys actually have vision this fight, like you guys could win. You guys could win this fight. Because it can let casting get flanks, it can let fiddlesticks get like a good ult. And
Yeah.
Leona already used her sweeper, so she doesn't actually have it up. Um, so it'd only be Graves' sweeper up, and I don't know if he has his up. Um, but that's just something that you could think about. Like you could single-handedly maybe have turned this fight around, like with really good vision, before like literally like a minute before like this objective even come up. It's like this ward we have to, you know, wonder. Like first of all, we don't know if their little plant is up, and then um, we knew that he had sweeper probably up because we already saw Leona use hers. But I think it's like somewhat okay to use it because now we know he does have a sweeper. But we just
Mm.
make sure we don't place any more while he has a sweeper. This
Yeah,
maybe
mess
could
up
have
my
been
Q.
this maybe could have been a good time to Bartle here. Um, if you watch it again.
Yeah, I was going to, and then I think I'm gonna like stun. Yeah, right here,
Oh,
and then
oh yeah, and
I
you're
should have done it like
blinded.
before I got stunned.
Yeah, so maybe right here is a good time. It's
Yeah.
Bartle. It's like a really hard spell though, so um, your team wants to try something cheeky. But yeah, I'd say overall, like I think the fight, like yeah, you could have like hit this Q or whatever, but there's like other things that you could do before the fight. And so always whatever, like, do you watch her replays at all or no?
Like very rarely.
Very rarely. So like always be thinking about like not only what can I do like mechanically, but also like did we have appropriate vision for this fight or like was there something that I could have done better in that aspect too? Because oftentimes there is.
Yeah.
Because I think this would be an interesting like scenario where if we like went in spectator and we saw like where their wards are, like how much vision they had on us while we were doing certain things. I think this is control worded, but like maybe they had a ward up here or something like that we didn't see because we weren't watching Leona place her wards. And if they had a ward here, that'd give them a lot of info.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the only time I like press tab just where I usually like, see how many words are in lane. Like it's a bad control word. I don't. I think I just got like too lazy to do it after that. So I should probably be doing that.
I'm fucking healing them. It's funny. What is she doing?
Yeah.
So our next are these two words like efficient at what we want to do at this point?
Um. I think I wanna like get mid tower, right?
Yeah. So I guess you want to determine like what your next play is. I think that it's pretty hard to get mid tower. I think your guys' best play, like this is even with Ash up, like before she dies to Camille or whatever. Like I think it's pretty hard to get mid tower unless you're diving them with fiddlesticks, and I think that's you guys are behind, so probably not something that you guys want to do. So I'd say placing more defensive vision like here and like over in like this pixel maybe, or like clearing this, getting more defensive vision rather than offensive vision is going to be better now because we want to set up for like a play with our fiddlesticks ulti or something. Um,
Uh,
and we kind of outscale with, Cast and with fiddlesticks. They both scale pretty well. And so getting deep vision here, I don't think it's necessarily going to do anything, even if Ash was alive.
right.
Because at this moment, we're just going to try to like stall out the game. I guess the important thing is to realize we want to stall out the game. Nice. keyboard sounds like a typewriter.
Yeah, it's pretty noisy.
It's okay. It's just like funny. It's like, do you play it on a typewriter? Oh,
Yeah, we get a pick here,
yeah, that's really good. Oh,
and then I try to
Graves.
block like the ult,
Yeah,
but
Graves ult was
she is
really cool. Oh, sorry, I mean Graves W. But it looks like it ends up turning out pretty good.
yeah.
Nice. So you guys are actually in like a decent spot now. Assuming that you don't all die to Camille.
I think she killed someone.
Man, Ashton killer.
And she like autos the minions.
That's so funny. Unfortunate. So I guess your next play is like, what are they gonna do once they get the kills? Do you know?
Yeah, Baron.
Yeah, potentially Baron. You also have to imagine like Camille might go B because she was really low and got a bunch of money. But I like that you're walking over this way. I like that you're being careful about it. All right, there she is. They're on it.
Oh yeah, I think I trolled this fight pretty hard.
I think putting the control word in the back of the pit is also fine because they
Yeah.
actually had to go clear it and they're all melee. So they'd have to walk up, I guess the range would.
Yeah, I shouldn't have like ran away.
Mm,
So I had exhaust and everything.
yeah. We can watch it again. It's a hard situation to play through while in game, I think. I think there's a world here where, like, strictly just going in with your tunnel into here after you
Yeah,
ult, and like Leona might go on you and kill you, but your fiddlesticks will probably get a good ult. So like, you might have to be like a
stunning their backline.
sacrifice. Yeah, you could stun
Yeah,
someone and you'll probably die, but it's probably like an overall good trade for your team, and it's like about knowing when those situations can occur.
yeah,
Um, I'd say that's like probably the best play, but it's like kind of hard to make that decision in the moment. But just making sure you're using your health bar effectively. But yeah, you already know this. Like, well, obviously, we could have done better here.
I don't know how that didn't stun her.
Yeah,
Like, I think if that hits the stun, then she dies.
yeah, maybe. All right. So what's the plan now? I got Baron. Do you guys know what you should do?
Probably just like try to farm it. Like,
Yeah.
don't really fight.
The only things you can do is like try to make like picks by sitting in like bushes, or um, or like just trying to wave clear, which I think that your team doesn't really have very much wave clear. So
Yeah,
when your team doesn't have very much wave clear, it's really bad when they get buried. So um, ultimately could be game ending. Um, I think getting 2 control words here is gonna be really good. Um,
yeah. I was trying to get like dead
your dead
man's
man's, yeah.
ASAP.
I think you have to think like, is dead man's gonna stop them from like getting a tower, or could a like a control word with a fiddlesticks like getting a good ult, like could that prevent them? It's kind of like
Yeah,
what you need in the moment. Um, Maybe if you're like roaming more, then dead man's would be probably like a better item to try to get. But at the moment we're kind of just on the defense. I don't know, you can't move. Holy shit.
yeah. I don't know if I should have flashed. I think so.
Oh, it's just all falling apart. So the one thing that we could have talked about is um, instead of going for this, because you guys never get this tower here, you just recall and then start setting up wards for the lane that you think that they're gonna push, and then go B again. So then you'll have wards. So like, alternatively, instead of doing this, you can go B immediately after the Baron. Go start
Hmm.
setting up wards bot because maybe you think that they're gonna go bot. Sometimes you're wrong and they go top. Okay, but like
Yeah.
um, then after you set up those wards, then you go B again, and then you're like at this fight, your team no longer gets caught because you have the wards here. Um,
Yeah.
and then if they like clear all those wards, you still have like your four more now. Um, so
Yeah.
that's kind of like you have to kind of know like expect where they're gonna go though, and that's sometimes can be impossible because like you would think that they might just go for the free tier one top tower, but they might just go for the tier two bot tower. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Also getting wards like in the middle of the lane when they have Baron to see where they're like rotating, like here, or like if it was like top lane and you already lost that, like you go in here. But getting wards in mid lane when they have Baron is super important because you can see when they're like rotating up or if they're rotating down. Uh, but they probably will be cleared, but if they're not, then they provide like a ton of info.
Yeah.
But yeah, we end up dying. So like there's wards that we could have placed that could maybe have prevented this play, and maybe we could have stalled out the game even longer.
Yeah.
Uh, we still will probably be down, a turret, two turrets, three turrets, but at least we wouldn't have died. Like four of us died as well or whatever. Um, and the longer you stall this game out, I think that your chances will increase, at least based
Hmm.
on how I've seen Kassadin. So, but maybe versus Camille, it's a little bit different. Camille might actually be able to deal with Kassadin. Okay. Oh wow, that was actually really smart to like auto the minion first, so that it die and then
Yeah.
you hit the other one.
I mistimed the key though.
Yeah, but I like the idea. Nice.
Maybe I should have exhausted there for the
Mm,
slow.
nah, I don't think it changed anything. Oh, we're going. Looks like it's gonna be good though. Oh, it's my Irelia.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. Let's go.
Yeah. Camille was top.
Yeah, very good, very good. So like, why did this work? Do we know?
They were all like split up. They went in
Yeah.
at different times.
Yeah, so they were all split up and they went at different times. You were able to land like really good CC. Um,
Yeah.
and then also in here, I don't think you set it up necessarily, but also you have like really good like this ward is like super important for what's happening. Um,
Uh,
because you can just see everything like in the fight.
yeah. I think I mistimed my exhaust
Like when
though.
Lucia jumps into here, like it's a big deal and everything. Like you probably wouldn't no matter what, but just like words are really impactful in these fights. Good. You can go pick up some chimes. Our goal is probably for mid tower.
Yeah.
So what's our plan after? Like, what do you think you should do after you get this tower?
Probably back and then like set up wards again.
Yeah, I'd say back and then like see if your jungler can secure like scuttle at dragon or something. Um,
Yeah.
but might be too dangerous. Oh, okay, Camille's pushing again. I think going for this is fine.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty int by the Camille. Nice. Nice. Really good. Alright, now going B is good. We know dragons in 3 minutes, so we don't have to prep for that yet.
Hmm.
Waiting for another control word here would be really good. We don't really have
Yeah.
anywhere to be. You know, we had Dragon in 240 and Baron in minute 30.
Yeah.
Is there a reason we're running to Dragon right now?
Um, I mean, no, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, we get like 2 chimes, but there's also like 2 chimes in top side, so I think setting up vision around Baron is gonna be better. Even though like I think it is their soul. No, I think you guys got a dragon. Oh, what? What? Okay, we get our
She hints.
flash, yeah, or something. Okay. God. All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Ah, I don't know why we're fighting over dragon vision like 2 minutes before it spawns, but
Yeah, it's D4.
um, okay, we're watching this time. Okay, she ults it. Very good. This looks good. Oh, nice. Perfect. So you guys probably want to go B and defend mid now and set up vision
Yeah.
for Baron. I think going B here is better by
You
significant
kill,
margins.
you hard kill the Baron. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know why going B is gonna be like so much better like here?
You get to like buy for the Baron fight,
Well, yeah, you
I
get a
guess.
buy, you get 2 control wards, you get refresh on your wards, you get the home guard boots. They were pushing mid, and like you want wards to set up for Baron. So I think everyone else can run if they want, but like I think specifically you going B is super important here. It'll take
Let me,
just about the same amount of time to go from here to here, from here to here, and you'll have home guards, so
yeah.
it might even be faster. Um, so that's just something to keep in mind.
That was like a 3v5 at the moment. That's why
Yeah,
we could do it.
yeah, but even then, like having good visions is like very, very helpful. Especially if like you don't trust your fiddlesticks to land the smite or something.
Yeah.
This Katarina should never like get killed here. Like even if she wanted, like I don't know. I feel like she could have got out a lot faster than she actually was. All right, we're
Yeah.
starting this up. We don't have our Cassidon. We don't have any wards. Looks like it'll probably be okay. I don't
The
think Camille.
Caston
Camille
goes
no
to top
TP.
to farm.
She just don't do very much damage to it though. But like, do you see how much like safer this would be as if you had like vision right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I would feel like so much safer. Like,
I was thinking we could just see like
yeah,
get it, and then we ult in. Like,
looks
yeah.
like this game. So I don't know if necessarily having those wards would have saved you, but you guys were behind, so good try.
Yeah. And I got,
Yeah, I mean, you try your best. You try to get the Baron. If you get it, it probably doesn't. Probably good.
yeah.
Um, Man, they
And then
get
they
caught
get
so
soul.
much, and then they get soul.
Yeah. And it's ocean. That's
Yeah.
like so hard.
Where's Camille?
I think we got the Grazier, so we're trying to like push, but they have Baron. So
Hmm. So now our objective is to get cast in 16.
yeah.
So we kind of just want to stall out for that. Yeah. She's actually dead. Good. Glad you didn't take it. Oh. Oh my god, he's going in.
16 now.
Yeah, so this is like almost a winning state for you guys actually. You guys
Yeah.
have gotten so many picks, even though they've gotten Baron, that you guys could almost win through Ocean Soul. Uh, almost. If they kill Caston, then probably not. Or if Fiddle lands a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think buying extra control word here is always going to be better, even if you're trying to get your item.
Yeah.
We skipped over that control word. Unless we're going back. We just didn't see it.
Mm.
It's okay. Just make sure we're paying attention when we're walking through bushes. Because it looks like you're walking through them on purpose, but make sure that we're also looking.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's good that you're like going to check for them. I think that's good. But yeah, this is one of those moments again where it's like this would be a super good time to check how many wards Leona has, because she's about to go place some. And if you're able to see exactly where they are, then it's a really easy clear. So we just
Yeah.
saw her place one behind red, but we don't know how many she has left or if she like placed any others. And so if we had taken like kept more track of it, we maybe didn't have to waste our sweeper here.
Yeah.
Instead, we could be more focused on actually getting the wards with our sweeper. But this guy ends up running it. But it still doesn't look super promising. Oh, maybe it does. Wait, what?
I got Camille ulted.
Ah, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think are like overall? I usually go over it in like a summary on like what I think, but like I'm gonna ask you, I guess, like what do you think are some things that you can work on?
Just like vision control, and then like knowing like where my team is and like
Like
going in at the right time.
movement control, I'd say like before objectives,
Yeah.
specifically, and after basing, getting vision that matters.
Yeah.
That matters. So we want to make sure that like we're getting the vision that'll actually like help us track the jungler, help us do something, rather than just like maybe watching one lane only, or like we want the best vision that we can possibly get. Bard's a
Yeah.
really slippery champion, so he can often like get vision that some champions can't. So if you could try to
Mm.
abuse that, it's really good. What else do you say? Like knowing where your teammates were?
Yeah, like knowing where my own teammates are and like versus the other jungler, and like knowing when to walk up.
So like map awareness and like knowing when you're showing on vision,
Yeah.
and how that affects your team. Like ADC gets dived, question mark. Um, I'd say like using your spells with a purpose in lane.
Yeah.
Um, make sure you're not wasting. You're not wasting and leaving yourself vulnerable. Think about your mission in lane, and use them to help you do that. So I'd say like the specific example is when you're trying to freeze and then you're using your Q on Leona. Like
Mm.
I think that one was like the most obvious, I guess. But just always be thinking about it, even if you're not playing Bard. Just like, is there a reason I'm throwing out this Zyra Q? Oh, it's probably to poke. Okay, that's fine. But like maybe in this instance, like the poke doesn't actually do anything. Or maybe I'm doing it for my spell thieves procs. Like just have a reason for why you're using the spells. Um,
Yeah.
let's see what else. Um, I think
Um.
um, don't worry too much about like the mechanics of how you're playing. Think more about big picture stuff, like what I'm saying, like with your goals and stuff. Because if you like focus on like, oh, I didn't land that stun, like there's only so much you could do, like trying to predict them where they're gonna move. But if you like focus on the big picture, like, oh, he had his dash up, so that's why that stun was hard to land, like, or
Yeah.
maybe I should have gone for the stun in the first place. Then like that could be more helpful and I'm actually improving at the game rather than just focusing on like, ah, I shouldn't have landed, like I should have landed this Q on Katarina. Not to say like you did that a lot, but like I see
Mhm.
that in a lot of people. They focus on probably like too much of the mechanics and less on like the reasons and why and like how this can actually apply to more like games in the future. Uh, Anything else you remember specifically? Um,
Um, Just like where to run to, I guess,
yeah,
after recon.
after recalling, where should you run? Um, and you can think about it while you're recalling,
Yeah.
um, or maybe even before. Like maybe you know that the top laner is about to get ganked, and you recall before, and then you're there for the top lane gank. It's something that's really hard to do, but like really good supports will do it. Like Vulcan, he'll do that, and um,
Do
like
what?
like Vulcan, when he plays Bard, he like roams like a shit ton. So um,
I do that when I go like Omni Stone
yeah, yeah.
because I have like Predator sometimes and stuff.
I think it's harder to
So,
roam against like a champion like Leona because you're AD carry and get dived, but like
yeah.
against games like Janna or Soraka, I bet you roam like a lot more, and it's like a
Yeah.
lot more, a lot more like active around the map. But just make sure, like I think we went over it a little bit, but like if you get pushed in, then your wave bounces back, and
Like I used to go Omni Stone and roam a lot, but like now I switched to Guardian to like focus more on lane, I
yeah.
guess.
Um, so if you get point 0.6 when that like whenever they pushed you in, then now your wave will be slow pushing towards them, so it's bouncing back. So then that could be scary if you go roam, and then your ADC might die like that happened that game. Whereas if instead you're the one pushing, then recalling, then it's bouncing back towards you, so you have like a better better roam time.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. So if you're able to push and then like recall, it's like super good. But oftentimes like recall timings can be based on like if you're low mana, or if like your AD carry wants to buy their BF sword or whatever the fuck they want to buy. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not always up to you, but also it can be up to you in certain cases. Let's see what else. I'd say just like make sure you're buying control wards more probably. I'd say there's like two times where maybe you probably should have bought another control ward.
Yeah.
Even like selling a refillable for the control ward would be okay. I think they're really important. Like one control ward can almost win you a fight sometimes. So um,
hmm
yeah, I'd say that's super important. Um, any other questions,
Um,
or if there is anything in the
when should I
game?
go Omni Stone?
I don't know that question.
Okay.
If I knew, I'd tell you, but I don't know.
So I usually just go Guardian into like hard matchups, and
Yeah.
then like Omni Stone or anything else. Yeah.
I'd say Omnistone probably is better when like you're not afraid of the enemy jungler or the laner. Because
Yeah.
Guardian even helps like when you're going for the invades. If someone else comes, you get the shield and stuff. But
Yeah.
because I think Bard's like tankiness is one of his strengths right now, which is kind of weird. But like he could kind of
Yeah.
just like run into anywhere and like portal out and then run. So um, if you can give up that tankiness, like say they have an Ivern, say they have like an Amumu, say they have, you know, Soraka, like maybe that's the time you go Omnistone, but I'm not sure. I don't specifically play Bard, so that would
Uh,
be like a good question to ask like a Bard main.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. Um, but yeah, I think that's about all I got.
Uh,
I'd say just make sure that whenever you're playing, you're like being more focused and in the game. Whether that means like you should only play like 2 or 3 games of solo queue a day and then play on a Smurf or what? But like make sure in those games you're just consistently staying focused. If your mind is like going elsewhere, then you're probably not playing at your peak if your goal is to climb. Um,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean some people can stay focused longer than others, but generally I personally like to play like 3 games max, so then play on like a Smurf or something. Um, when I'm when I'm climbing. Uh, but yeah, everyone's different, so could be different. Um, Trying to think about anything else. But just like I guess like the play of like placing your wards, then going B, uh, so you have more wards. So you have wards for the fight, and then also track enemy by wards by clicking on them, and then you can sweep them better. Yeah, you'll find it really funny. Like whenever I play support and I do it, it's like so funny when I watch the support and they like go place all 3 wards and I go sweep exactly where they are. Like I think it's like I start laughing when I do it. It's kind of weird, but like it's really funny when they like go place all 3 of their wards and you just like go by and just kill them all.
Yeah.
It's like you knew
They actually
exactly where they are.
they removed the thing where you can see like the word that will die when you place your fourth word and your second controller.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they did that.
So
I think it's a bug,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
Alright.
If you want, you
Thanks.
can add me. I don't do coaching sessions till like 2 weeks after your previous one, but
Alright.
maybe we could do another one sometime.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alright,
Alright,
peace out.
thanks. See ya.
Cheering for you. Later. Thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something. That was the Quas on NA. Hopefully you guys cheer for him as well. I think he can eventually get masters. So see you guys later. Bye.